The right hires aren't just your employees, they are your leverage. So hello beautiful people and welcome back to my channel. Today I am talking about how to hire the right team that is going to support you on your leadership journey. Now this video is part of my 5-part leadership series on how to lead beyond the pressure. And if you haven't seen the other videos, then do click on this link right here and you'll be able to look at the playlist. So here's the thing, hiring the right team can really make or break your leadership. Truly, if you want to scale your leadership, you need people that are aligned, committed, and capable. And most importantly, understand where you are going as a leader and understand how to equip you with the tools, the support, and the advice that you need to go to your next level of greatness. Too often, high achieving women are doing the work themselves. And don't get me wrong, there is a point where you recognize that I've done all this work, but I don't have enough hands. I don't have enough capacity. And it is now time for me to outsource, to delegate, and to build a team around me. But here's the thing. When high achieving women hire, you hire too fast. You hire with your emotions and you hold on to people that are not necessarily a fit for your leadership vision. And the result? Overwhelm, micromanaging, and constantly feeling like you've hired people, but you are still carrying the weight of it all. A great team doesn't just help with your execution. They help with amplifying your influence, with gatekeeping your time, with protecting your vision, and with holding you accountable in the areas that you may have slipped in. You see, it's not how long you know someone, but it's really how effective are they in their role. Are they making your life easier? Are they making your leadership less weighty? Are they really championing where you are going with your vision, with your path, and with your purpose? You see, when we hire teams, it's not about just creating a community around us, but it's really building our resource pool of help, of effective support, and of people that really are committed to what you are desiring to achieve. At the end of the day, we are really hiring a team to help us with the load. And if you've hired a team member and you're still feeling that weight, that is a surefire red flag, telltale sign that this may not be the right hire. So to avoid this, here are 3 things that I look for when I'm hiring team members, especially as a high achieving woman, and I know that this will benefit you. Number 1 is I look for somebody that is very, very strong at self-leadership. This is someone that doesn't wait for commands. This is someone that doesn't follow the leader. This is someone that is proactive, intuitive, anticipates, and is very resourceful. When I talk about self-leadership in interviews, I'm always asking interviewees, what was a time that you self-led in your own personal life? Or what was a time that you led yourself to achievement or to greatness? I really want to hear from the candidate what they were incentivized by, firstly. Number 2, how did they motivate themselves? What were the actions that they took to get them to execution? I find a lot of times when we hire people, we look at, their CV or resume, we see that they have the skills, but that character trait of being self-led, being a starter, being someone that completes and finishes things, to me is critical. Especially as a CEO, I don't have time to micromanage people constantly and constantly give them commands and directives. And so having someone that is able to self-lead themselves in the role and create really powerful decisions on behalf of myself as well as within their executive realm is super helpful. As a CEO, that just lifts a lot of weight off of me because I know that this is somebody that has ownership over their role. The right team doesn't just execute. They think for themselves, they make decisions for themselves, they advocate for themselves, and they anticipate. And that, I love seeing that in a new hire. And I want to say this about self-leadership as well as a character trait for your team. You want people who are not going to stand in your shadows. You want people who are very strong in their belief system, in their values, and in their goals that they desire to attain. When you have people that are not self-assured, and are persons that can feel insecure around you and your greatness, you find that these are people that either mimic or clone who you are just to people please and to fit in. And that can be detrimental to teams, to organizations, and to overall performance. I remembered when I hired a team member previously, she lacked this ability of self leadership. And it was so evident in the way that she was just constantly in my shadows, waiting for me to give her directives, waiting for me to tell her what to do. And then all of a sudden, she started to be like a clone of mine. When you don't have self leadership, you don't have employees that can provide constructive criticism. You don't have employees that would hold you accountable. You don't have employees that are willing to disagree. And that leads to poor performance. It leads to you having a team that actually isn't developing you in your leadership, but is allowing you to make mistakes, allowing you to be mediocre, allowing you to be average. And that relationship definitely had to be severed. But it's a really important lesson that I learned, and I think all of us can learn when it comes to hiring, particularly as a high achieving woman. You really want people that know who they are and have a strong leadership ability. Because remember, they're going to sit next to you, and you are a leader in your own right and in a very powerful way. And so they need to be able to sit comfortably alongside that. The second step that I like to take when hiring a team is hiring beyond the role. And what do I mean by that? The role obviously will have its core responsibilities and duties, who the employee is going to report to. But I also like to make it clear what is the impact of the role. How does the role impact the overall operations of the business? How does the role impact on the goals and the mission of the business? I think when you hire from that place of impact, people understand that it's not just about ticking off their tasks and their responsibilities each day, but they have a KPI to measure their performance against. By doing that, it makes it very clear to the employee that, listen, it's not just about your skills and your responsibilities, but it's also about your furtherance of the company's goals, agenda, and operations. And if the employee doesn't have that type of a long-term view and is more focused on short-term wins or short-term gains, they may not be an aligned fit for us. Another thing I want to say about that is when you bring people into your world, you're really sharing with them that, yes, they have to do a job when it comes to their tasks, but you also want forward-thinking people. You want people that are able to create value and bring something to the table. It's not just about skills, because as we are well aware, you can learn skills, you can develop skills, but you can't develop alignment overnight. Alignment is something that an employee needs to come in with. And so really creating that conversation early on around impact and vision, to me, is imperative to getting the right team member. Last but not least, accountability and transparency. A lot of times we as leaders, we don't want to hold our team members accountable because we don't want to create any tensions or to create any conflicts within the organization. But let me just tell you this: the faster you are able to nip something in the bud, the more time you have to train your team up. But I really do feel like a lot of times we avoid the conflict because we want to maintain that very cordial work environment. But passive aggression is a real thing. So accountability is what saves relationships. Accountability is what saves teams. And not only accountability, but transparency. Having non-disclosure agreements, ensuring that your team feels emotionally and psychologically safe to share. Creating an environment where you are actually asking them for their feedback, asking them how are they enjoying their role, and really setting that stage for open and honest conversation. And you want your team to understand as well that accountability and transparency is not just for you as the leader and the manager, it is also for them. It is for them to ventilate and articulate what they're experiencing so that their experience could be an overall positive one. It helps with safeguarding the relationship. It helps with making their job environment a really enjoyable one, because the more that your team can open up, the more you're going to have such an amazing team that is by your side. And I just want to share something. Having been in business for 7 years, I've hired so many people to further Alpha Suit's vision and mission. And I've learned so much as a leader along the way. And of course, being someone that is in the public eye and being someone that has a brand and an influence is so important to also create those boundaries, because you don't want people to be fangirling you when they should be working for you, and they should be really focused on deliverables and on their KPIs. And something that I really struggled with is wanting to take people along on the journey with me, wanting to develop people, but also realizing that they just did not have the skill set, or they just did not have the entrepreneurial knowledge that I'm looking for. Sometimes you can feel really guilty as a leader having to let these people go, but I also feel like in letting them go, you're also preserving the relationship. You're preserving that sense of camaraderie that you build with the individual. And so when I have to let somebody go, it's not me saying, oh, well, they suck at their role, let me just fire them or let them go. I always look at it as, I appreciate the work that they've done. I want to value our relationship. And instead of our relationship going to the pits because we can't get along or because you're not doing your job right, it is best for me to let you go. It is best for me to let you move on to something that's more aligned with your skill set. And do so in love, do so with appreciation, do so with deep levels of respect for the individual. And I find that letting go has become so much easier for me as a leader, because I'm no longer attached to people and results. I'm just more focused on, is this person meeting their goals, meeting the quality of work that I'm seeking? And if they're not, let's let them move on to something else that is more aligned for their skill set. And it is hard work. It is not easy to let go people. But I always remind myself that as a woman in leadership, we deserve an exemplar team. We deserve excellent people. We deserve committed people. We deserve people that are going to champion and support us and further our mission. This is why we hire people, we invest in people, we build people up. That has been a deep, deep comfort for me, constantly reminding myself that I give excellence and I deserve an excellent team. And so do you. When you build a team that truly, truly, truly supports you, something in your leadership shifts and people can see it, people can experience it. And it's because you found people that are amplifying your influence. You found people that are amplifying your steps. You found people that are making your path to greatness and your walk to greatness a little lighter, a little easier. And you can literally tell when a woman has a very great team around her. You can now focus on strategy. You can now focus on your vision. You can now focus on the things that move the needle. You can now focus on the things that are going to take you closer and closer and closer to your dream destination. And you can stop with all of the busy work, all of the distractions, and all of the burnouts. Because truly, the right hires aren't just your employees. They are your leverage. So I do hope that this video was helpful. If you enjoyed it, please click like and subscribe to this channel. Also, leave your comments below. I would love to hear what has been your biggest challenge hiring teams. Now that I've shared with you my own experiencing of hiring teams. And don't forget, if you want to journey with me in a one-to-one container, you want to learn how to become more embodied in your leadership, then do apply to coach with me in my one-to-one coaching container, Beyond the Peak. Until next time, you are light, you are love, and you are destined for greatness. See you in another video and go enjoy this playlist. Bye.